Hey, this is Prometheus, and I want to give you some tips from Madden 17. I'm going to give you 5 tips on what Madden elite players do. The elite players from Madden do in their offensive schemes and defensive schemes, and how they play the game to be an elite player. So I want to talk about the 5 traits of an elite player. First and foremost, one of the first trait with any kind of elite player is that their schemes dictate the game plan. They actually dictate the game plan of your opponents. Basically, if you play against an elite Madden player, I'm going to have to go ahead and make adjustments to your scheme instead of them adjusting to me, and that's the difference between a Madden player. Now, on defense, generally, what an elite player will do is he's going to have his defensive pressure set up so effectively and so hard, it's going to be very difficult for me to stop it. I have to adjust. I have to block 6. I can go ahead and check down to be able to stop his pressure. Conversely, on coverage, if he does all-out fag coverage, he's going to force me to go ahead and roll out and take off my quarterback, or actually have man beaters, wait for plays to develop. So elite Madden players will force their opponents to do that on defense. Now, on offense, generally what they're going to do is they're going to keep their opponent off balance with their offensive scheme. They're going to stay in probably 1 or 2 different types of formations, and they're going to pick plays and know basically and anticipate how an opponent would defend it, and they're going to go ahead and make counters based off of that. So that's one of the things that you want to do. The first trait would be their schemes dictate a good game plan. Now, on defense, most elite Madden players, and I have to say probably all of them, do one thing, is they have one base defense that they use. They don't jump out a lot of defenses. You can see right here the problem is in a double loop off defense, and he's setting up his defense the same way every time. He's not showing a different look. He's always got the same defense, and he makes adjustments on the back end. That's why in the past that the Mike Scrape 3 was so popular. That's why a lot of people have actually been moving over to double loop, just to try to get that pressure, the consistent pressure, to go ahead and force your opponent to make some adjustments. And that forces your opponent to actually go ahead and block 6 or block 7, whatever they can do to go ahead and stop those blitzes and give themselves a little time. And then once you're playing against somebody and they're forcing you to go ahead and take away your options, you're actually in some trouble, because now they're dictating their coverages. Also, what they do is they pick up opponents' tendencies and they adjust accordingly. One of the things that the elite Madden players do is they have the muscle memory down so good about how to adjust their coverages in the back end. They can go ahead and man up players across the field. They can go ahead and put guys in flats real quick, and they can do this in a split second, where an average person or someone just picks up the sticks is never going to have that down. So the fastest and easiest way to become an elite player is just to get your adjustments down, understanding the adjustments and the entire complexity of the game. That's one of the fastest ways to do that. And then finally, what they do is they'll actually put holes in their defense, where they'll actually go ahead, or a blue zone would be, they'd put it in a flat. They'll create holes and give up risk for a high reward. So they'll try to abate their opponent by making adjustments in the back end, or they'll actually look like they're manually defending a streak route and then come down and pick off the ball on the drag. So those are what elite Madden players do on defense. Now, on offense, they have a balanced offense, and they generally only run maybe 1 or 2 different types of formations. They don't run a lot of formations. They know their plays inside and out. Now, they have some type of harassment play or run play that actually forces their opponents to defend against it. In particular, I'll give you an example. One of the plays that the problem uses is he uses that fullback dive, and he took Gronkowski, put him in the fullback dive, and he just pounded the ball up the middle. And then when he had his opponent defending against that run, doing whatever he can stop against the run, he'll take a shot up top to go ahead and get a big touchdown. So that was one of the things he did. Now, another thing you could think of is drag routes. Drag routes are very effective. They're hard. You got to stop. You got to go ahead and do underneath coverage, and that's a good way to set up the big play, because when people are coming down to defend it, it's hard. Now, I've ran into some people online that use verticals the entire game, and they ate me up. They hit me on the outside with the deep lob streaks. They hit me underneath with the running back. They hit me across the field, and then I'd be giving up the seam, and I did that. So I had a guy that played that game, or ran that play against me the entire time, and he was so efficient at it, he was able to go ahead and destroy me with it. I just couldn't stop his offense. So that's why verticals is one of those most popular plays in Madden 16. And what they're doing is really setting up that play down. So if they're doing drags underneath and they're basically doing things underneath, they're actually trying to set that big play up. A lot of elite Madden players are going to anticipate when they can get that hole down the field, and that's what Stiff does in his scheme. and what problem does in a scheme too. And the last thing that they actually do is they understand what passing routes beats man coverage and zone coverage. You know, zone coverage and man coverage, basically they know how to manipulate all the different zones. They know how to do a corner streak concept with the flat, and know how to tump it down and manipulate, and they know what routes beat man coverage. And just doing motion, auto motions to go ahead and get those drag releases to go free, this is another thing they do. Now, Madden Elite players, the fourth thing that they have is they have special yardage situations. So they know how to go ahead and convert fourth downs and 2-point conversions when they need them. Conversely, they have defense for fourth downs and for 2-point conversions, such as they need to have defense for QB sneaks and fullback dives. If you actually watch this, the Madden Championship, they talk about how you can't come into this game without having fullback dive defense or QB sneak defense. You're going to have that to be successful. And also they have red zone and red zone defense and offense. So they've got a way to go ahead and basically cover the defense, and conversely they know how to go ahead and beat different types of defenses in there. So those are important things to have. Now the final aspect and trait of an elite Madden gamer is clock management. And one of the things that's just amazing with a lot of players out there is that they don't understand how to go ahead and take timeouts and preserve the clock. But the elite Madden gamers out there know once the ball gets inside the 20-yard line or within a 10-yard line, they know that they can go ahead and start stopping the clock and preserve time so they can get that one last drive. In Madden, 50 seconds is an eternity. You can get a touchdown in 50 seconds. It's not hard to do that. So it's critical to make sure you understand clock management and giving yourself an opportunity. That's the simplest thing you'll actually learn, is actually stopping the clock, running out of bounds, doing plays where you can actually maintain it. So when it comes to elite gaming, and being an elite gamer, you have to have a scheme that dictates how your opponent game plans. You got to have probably one defensive set only, and have your base blitz set up. Have a balanced offense where you basically harass your opponent with underneath stuff and then actually hit them up top, and then have plays for short yardage, and understand how to control the clock so you can get the win. Now, I'm actually a part of the Yut Gaming crew, and basically we're going to be rolling out a lot of different schemes and stuff, and I'll be showing you some of the things I pick up. Some of the stuff I pick up against my opponents. Sometimes I pick up some tips and strategies from other YouTubers, and I try to share it on the channel just to help the community. If you guys like this kind of content, if this is something you just never really thought about, I hope this helps you, because being an elite gamer takes time, practice, muscle memory. It's going to give you the opportunity. It's going to be some of a dedication to this game if you have it, and you can definitely be if you understand what are the key traits of being an elite gamer. To all my subscribers, I really appreciate the support. Until next time.